if you take a Yu-Gi-Oh style deck and a cheating Asian player and mix them together, what do you get? Oh my god. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Mr. here. Today I am back to cover Zorga Nadir in Divine. It says the Divine Skill, right? Today, obviously, I don't really wish to talk about this deck, so today we have Fade of Off.
I also don't wish to talk about this deck.
No, we should talk about this deck. This deck is so strong yet so weak at the same time. It's so funny. Like, Nadir actively warps the meta in the sense that your deck building decisions in terms of fighting Nadir is greatly impacted, as well as the Nadir mirror if you're fortunate to play it. It's very influential, so you actually need to know about this deck and how it exists in the meta, and that's probably why I've taken so long to do this deck profile, because honestly speaking, like, yeah, there's so many versions of this deck, it's not even funny, but today we're just going to go through an alternate version, not one that I personally played. Something you should know is that this deck is quite different from Masque in the sense that Masque focuses more on high power but lower crits in that sense, if you can even call it that. Whereas Nadir focuses on lesser power but more crits in that sense. So it's really weird, but there's also a version of Nadir like Stall Nadir where they basically just play like the urine spell. Oopsie daisies, the urine spell. And then they just draw cards and then they just wait and they try and grind you out with like the crab dig guy, which is basically this guy. And then they just pray that you get enough criticals. We're not using that. Or at least I'm not presenting that version today because I don't feel qualified to talk about it. I feel like that version is not really everyone's cup of tea. Then again, Zorga fits very weird fetishes, so I'm not really going to comment on that. But really, Nadir is very interesting in the sense that it's not like Welshra, where it's a clear direction in terms of how you build it. I think Nadir is very flexible in terms of how you can and cannot build it. But it's interesting enough that it's worth looking into from a new perspective, in the sense that it's not really focused on the drop, it's focused now on buying. So like Shoujo Doji fans rejoice, we can stop them once and for all. But yeah, that's really about it. So now that I've talked enough nonsense, let's go through the right deck. Right deck, we obviously play Energy. Energy is a huge part in Zorga right now because, you know, it's a fated one deck. So my DivineZ Explained video will be in the link in the description. For starter, we pick Eric because I'm a real fan of Asia Circuit, and to be honest, the guy that has the slurper mouth and the fat ghost guy, they don't really do it for me. If I play their non-starter, I just look like I just look idiotic, so, you know, we just represent. Our grade 1 is Abyss Fishing. The man has gone fishing. Where has he gone? When rolled upon by Split the Preordained, which is the giant big guy. So last one, look at top 7 cards of your deck.
You choose one order from among them, add them to your hand, and then you choose one card from among the top 7 and you put into your drop. Up to one card from the top 7 and put into your drop and then shuffle it.
So you can add an order to your hand and you can add a normal unit to the drop. So it's pretty nice, you can mill in that sense. And the top 7 is very impactful, especially given the new 54. So I'll say it's not bad though. I get why people miss Rancor Chain and Rusty Ropes, but to be honest, I think this fishing has its charms. I think it's not that bad.
You don't really need. You're more focused on getting stuff into the drop zone rather than getting stuff in your hand now, because you just can keep looping the same few orders back into your hand anyway. So it's alright.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. And then of course we Split the Preordained, who literally has one skill per se. Yeah. When rolled upon by a unit with Zorga with the Divine skill, you can choose an order card from your drop zone and add it back to your hand. Remember when people said this card didn't have a skill? Oh, that was so funny. Its other skill is that, you know, if you have if you have an order card, you're buying against 5. Yeah. But like, to be honest, if you're attacking with Split the Preordained, you've lost this game. Maybe that rhymes. And then of course we have Kinki no Umesha, Zorga Nadir, or Nadir, or however the hell you pronounce it. Hello Fafa. The first skill is that, you know, if you want to Alchemagic.
Yeah, it's when you play your order, you can choose a different order from your bind zone and play, and you combine the cost to combine the effects, aka Alchemagic.
So Alchemagic now works from the bind zone instead of the drop.
But please note that unlike Masque, you have to once again go back to playing, you know, different name. Like the order that you the two orders that you play on the same time have to be different name.
Yeah. And then of course his second skill.
His second skill is once per turn, act on Vanguard Circle Energy Blast 2, and you choose a order card from your your drop zone and bind it. To choose 2 of your rear guards. To choose 2 cards from your drop zone and call them back to rear guard circle. And for each card in your bind zone, they gain 5,000 power.
Yep.
Yeah, so it just makes your columns very stupid, because as the gamer keep, because you're not just gonna, there are ways to accumulate bind zone very fast in this
Oh,
deck.
definitely.
Yeah, so you're gonna just start snowballing the amount of cards in your bind very very.
Although the cards that you call are hollowed, so at the end of the turn,
At the end of the turn, they will die. But you want that in this.
You
meta.
want that because you want to get rid of your board so that it doesn't get sniped by Blankmire or doesn't get sniped by Vanguard. It's generally for the better. So it's a net zero.
And of course,
the amount of power you get is insane. And if you call stuff like Philander, hey, that's pretty cool.
And of course, there's rear guards that you wanted to always put into drop with Zorga, like RPD,
Roaming Prison.
Yeah, basically it's just roaming prison, but we'll get into other candidates later on.
Yep.
And then his final skill, of course, is his divine
skill,
skill, which is actually the weakest part of this card. Honestly, is that
Well,
when this unit attacks, a grade 3 or greater Vanguard,
yes.
Soul Blast 1, and you choose an entire column and stand it, and at the end of the turn that column dies.
Yep.
The column goes to drop.
So it seems very unassuming, like, you only can use this skill once a game to stand a column.
Yeah, for Soul Blast.
Like, this is really weird, but if you know Zorga, the power and the criticals all come very innately, so that one stand could determine the entire game. But if you time this skill wrong, like you just lose. Right? So make sure you actually time this divine skill. This isn't something like Varga Regress where you just pop off when you feel like it and start giggling, increase rain as soon as your opponent throws a PG, or hell, Welstra when you ride turn 3. But like this divine skill actually forces you to think as to when you actually can close the game. But generally the decision making is just linked to how many PGs has your opponent thrown out. Like as long as you know that statistic, you're generally fine.
Yeah. And that is it for the ride there.
Moving on for our orders, we're going to go through all our orders first, in fact. So from the top, we have a copy of Miasma. We also have Overcoming My Natural Death.
Yes.
We have the chair order. I forgot it. What it is.
Okay, we'll just go by grade.
Alright, sure.
We'll go by grades easier. Okay,
Sure.
so we have so we'll start with the orders that you're probably more used to. So we have Cloud Up Miasma. This has been the mainstay since it came out in Festival Collection Volume 2022, which states that you can call up you call out last one to play if you have a Zorga Vanguard. It's a grade 3 order. And it states that you choose one card from your drop zone and call it back to rearguard circle. And if this order was played through Alchemagic, then you give your Vanguard the red text continuous skill that all of your front units gain 5,000 power until the end of the turn.
That's really good.
Yeah, so it's just 5,000 in bracket 5,000 power. Like it really will never go wrong with this. And also the revive one is really strong because there are ways to pump up units that are specifically called from your drop zone.
Yes.
Which is the new order or brand of corpses.
This is the one with the Chris head.
Yeah.
And then
So this order can only be played
if your
if your
Vanguard
is a Zorga with a divine skill. And it states that you give your Vanguard the red text, it says continuous until the end of this turn. All rear guards that are played from the drop zone this turn gain 5,000 power. So you combine it with Miasma because you can't play the same order twice. Obviously, you can't stack the brand of corpses twice. So this is the best compromise. You give your front row 5,000 power. The RPD that you spawn from the drop zone is also given the 5,000 power from brand of corpses. So it gains a total of 10k. 10k from its own skill. Persona Ride another 10k. And then of course the booster which you call from the drop zone using Zorga Nadir skill, the Energy Blast 2, will also gain the buff from Zorga Nadir skill plus the brand of corpses. So that's already like plus 15k, plus 20k. You can understand why the divine skill is a restand is already very scary because any card that you call from drop suddenly becomes really, really very strong.
It's worth noting we are playing 2 because Brand of Corpses is not only really cool thematically because you can see it shape the regrain, but it's also the strongest order in terms of natural power game that the Divine Skill Zorga deck has, because it doesn't have the power of Masque where you just stack Persona and then the 10 and then the 10 and then the 10. So this is the closest you get to that, which is not bad. The power is lower in overall, if I'm not wrong, right? It's like
the power is still lower. The power is still lower than Masque, but it's more consistent.
It's more consistent, and you do get the crits that come with all the Zorga stuff. So it's pretty good. So that's basically about it. But although Fate of Fourth Dimension is a compromise, I will say this is the strongest offensive combo in my opinion because this is the highest amount of power you can get in this deck. So it's a pretty good compromise if you ask me. And if you want to talk about compromise and Pot of Greed, we have this guy, Black Magic. You pay Counter Blast 4 to draw 2 cards, but this cost is discounted by the number of orders in your bind zone.
Counter Blast 1 per order with a different name in your bind.
So if you play Nadir, which has a lot of bind, if you bind 4 orders, you CB2.
You CB0
to draw 2. That's
and then the thing, and also is to note that because the cost is combined for Alchemagic, right? If you let's say like you play 2 Black Magic together with another order that counterblast. The counterblast cost is still reduced to 0 overall.
Because of the 1 plus the 2 is 3, and then 3 minus 3 is 0.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice to work. To note, I would say this is one of the more better utility, but like this is something you have to save for.
It's still also it's also a mid game.
It's a mid game option. Yeah.
Of course, there are ways to cheat out counterblast in Zorga, so we'll get to it later. Then we move on to the grade 2s. So we are playing some so for grade 2s, we're actually not playing any offensive orders. We're actually going back to refurbishment. I think it's refurbishment drink. If I'm not is refurbishment wine. Or wine. Yeah, it's wine of refurbishment.
Wine tears in the stain of rain.
Yeah, something like that.
So basically, it's Soul Blast 1 to
Soul Blast 1 to play as a Blitz order.
It's a Blitz order, yeah. You draw a card.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Union the Sky.
Yeah, you immediately draw a card as soon as you play the order, and then for each order with a different name from your drop zone and your bind between your drop zone and your bind zone, your Vanguard gains 5,000 power. Or no, you choose one of your units and gain 5,000 power.
Yeah, it's really good.
Which is usually your Vanguard.
Yep, and so it's just shield. It's nice.
Yeah. So the reason why we're playing the Blitz order is because this, unlike Mars, this deck is is somewhat fragile in terms of this defense. So you do have to be very, very cautious with being able to stay alive and thus just being able to draw cards. And just of course, because you know you're keeping the binder so fast, you're gonna draw. You're going to get really, really fat shields to the point where it's basically equivalent to a perfect guard at this point.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then our last orders are overcoming our natural death, Ocean Asu Habitat, and Asthma of Awakening.
Yeah. So Wheeze of Awakening is very, very important for Zorga Nadir now because later on, okay, spoiler. Well, actually we're not playing that many mill cards, which includes Philander.
Yeah.
Because there really isn't a lot of ways
to
there's no way to hit the 10 cards in drop reliably, so we can't really play Philander. But we do
in this meta, but hypothetically, if we got to a slower meta, like let's say Lascaria, Velanova's meta, then Zorga could definitely go back to Philander. For sure, 100%.
And also, like, we just need as many cards in the draw as possible. So if you have forgotten what this card does from our DBT10 video,
show them the text.
DBT10 video, basically what it does is that it's a grade 0 order, but you must pay Count Blast on the play. So minimum, you can only play from turn 2 onwards.
Yep.
And you play it, and you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, you choose up to one card with greater than or equal to your Vanguard, and you add it to your hand, and the rest you must mill. So if you're on a grade 2 Vanguard, let's say you can add you can add your Shadow Cloak to your hand if you're sitting, or split the Preordain.
Split the Preordain.
Or if you're sitting on Mr. Zorga Nadir, you can add Persona Right to your hand, or you can add,
RBD.
Roaring Prison to your hand.
Lol.
So on and so forth. So it's just a very, very good filter, and also it just helps to build a drop so you have more orders to choose from. Because there are some orders that you must die see on turn 3, on your very, very first grade 3 turn, so you can maximize the output of this.
Which is Brand of Corpses.
Yeah. So one of them, sadly, is not Mystic Habitat. I know Mystic Habitat has taken the entire English format by storm. Everyone is like, oh my god, strongest order, oh my god, top 7, oh my god, I can add another copy of it to my hand.
Yeah, but it's not that.
The thing is that you have you're calling so many cards in your drop zone in Zorga now that a free Gurgit GB2 doesn't really do much anymore for this deck. Besides fishing out for the once out of like 3 game perfect guard that you need to survive.
Haha, fishing.
Yeah. So Mystic Habitat, if you don't know what it does, is that it's an order that just lets you check top 7, call a card that is a grade equal to or lower than your Vanguard, and both of its continuous text basically allow you to add another copy of it from that top 7 that you search from Mystic Habitat into your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't play another copy of Mystic Habitat, so it doesn't really matter for this sense. But if you do want to play more, then there is an option you can consider.
Our last card is Overcoming My Natural Death, who's actually from my Iron Anchor deck profile. Do you guys remember Iron Anchor? I certainly do. You pay CB1 to use this card. Choose 2 of your orders.
It's Calvas 1 to pay, then you must then you bind this order.
This order.
But because the effects are combined with Alchemagic, so you will just bind the order that you play. Then you choose 2 order cards from your drop zone and add them back to your hand. So note that it's any order cards, which means that you can add Blitz order back to your hand. So you can add set order, it doesn't really matter. So you can add Sanctitude back to your hand, you can add the Blitz order that we showed just now back to your hand, or you can add any normal order back to your hand.
It is really good.
So it's just, and because,
1 CB.
It's 1 counter blast. And also because it goes to your bind zone, which means you can replay it for the entire game. You will basically never run out of orders in this deck.
Yeah, we should actually mention that Zorga Nadir using the bind to play his orders means that you technically toolbox from bind instead of drop. Whereas when you use toolbox of drop, you have to bind it, right? So you only could use it once in the drop, but with Nadir, it's forbidden magic. So you can keep playing it from the bind.
That's why milling cards that mill are very important, because you need to see a lot of orders in the drop so as quick as possible, so you can
bind them.
So you can bind them, as well as also be able to use this so you can keep having gas for the rest of the game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Okay, the rest of the deck is really quick. We won't really go through it that much, right? Our grade 3s, we obviously play 3 Nadir in the main deck, 1 Nadir in the right deck, and then we play 4 copies of
Roaming Prison Dragon. Reprinted in Festival Collection
Do we need to
2024.
explain this card really?
Yeah, I think it's just quickly.
Yeah, just
So Roaming Prison Dragon is a triple rare from DBT04. It's been used Zorga ever since then, the bane of many people's existence.
Yeah, mine.
If you play a normal order, you can then play it card for your drops. There's a skill for your drop zone. When you play a normal order, it has to see that you play a normal order,
Yeah,
which means that
it.
it has to be in drop before the normal order effect goes off. I repeat, before the effect goes off, not before the cost. So that means that you have orders that retire it from the rear circle, put to the drop.
Doesn't count.
It does count.
Oh, it does count?
Cost counts, but if it
Effect,
goes in the drop through the effect of the order, doesn't count.
Oh, so if you milled it through the order, you won't get used
No.
it. But if you got it into the drop from the cost, then it works.
Yes.
Okay.
So for stuff like Tearful Malice, it works.
Okay.
So RPD is so good because when it calls back from drop, when you see that you play a normal order, you can choose one of the 2 skills to activate. The first skill is that you get 10,000 power, so it goes from its 5k base to 15k, so it hits for 10k guard against a grade 2 Vanguard, which is very
really
strong.
cool.
Or against a crit.
What the hell?
My favorite Golem Buster mechanic.
What
So
the
strong.
hell?
Yeah, but if you play Alchemagic,
You get both!
You get both.
I hate this deck.
What is choosing?
Nadir obviously is your persona, right? I will not explain that. Moving on to our grade 2s. Our grade 2s, we play 4 copies of Shadow Croak. We also play 2 copies of
Impending Karma.
Impending Karma, and then 1 copy of Split the Preordain from
Yeah,
the right
Split
deck.
the Preordain.
We've got your Split of Preordain.
Yeah. Shadow Cloak is your consistency engine. Is basically if you are unable to see any order that you desperately need to play that turn, then you can just use Shadow Cloak to mill it out. Because
Just
they
mill
say
it.
it's when placed from hand, you search your entire deck for any order card and put it to your drop zone.
Yep, just like
Then his second skill is that when you play a normal order, so it's the same timing as Roaring Prison Dragon, you Soul Blast 1, and then you can. And this unit gains 5,000 power. But if it's saw Alchemagic, which means that not only did you play a normal order, but you specifically also Alchemagic, you can choose one. You can choose one of your red cards and mouse it back to your hand.
for Soul Blast, right?
I mean, the Soul Blast is the whole effect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's both the 5k and also the bounce to hand.
That's really good.
Yeah. So do note that if you call over this card through the order effect, so long as it saw that you Alchemagic, the effect will still go off. So even if the Shadow Cloak leaves the field, so long as it was on the field for when you played the order, when you played Alchemagic, the effect will still go off.
Okay.
Yeah. Then Impending Karma is only here because of the Black Demon matchup. Like I will just tell you first, I'm only playing this because of Black Demon. Because if your RPD goes away, you lose the game.
You lose the game.
So Impending Karma is basically is a dollar store Roaring Prison Dragon. When he is placed on Regular Circle, you will Energy Blast 4. Yes, that's right. Energy Blast 4. Also bad. Triumph Dragon. They were so bad, guys. They were so bad. They were so
DivineZ
bad.
Explained.
QSD, guys. Energy Blast 4 and choose one of your orders from your drop zone and bind it. And this unit gains 5,000 power for each card, each order with a different name in your bind zone.
Yep. Different names.
So
you
that's
can
how
stack.
it gains power. Because this is a normal 10k base grade 2. But then that's how it gets very big because of the orders.
Yep.
And the second skill is the reason why it's good is that when you at the beginning of a battle phase, if you have a Zorga Vanguard with a divine skill, you can call this card for your drop zone to Regular Circle. I think you need to fulfill
You want to check?
a condition to have cards in the bind zone. I could be wrong, but
At the start of your battle phase, if you Zorga the divine skill, you can, if you play Alchemagic this turn, you can call it your red card. Yeah, and then if your opponent is grade 2 or greater, it gets a crit.
yes. So you need a Zorga with a so at the start of your battle phase, you have a Zorga with a divine skill and you Alchemagic that turn, you call this to your Regular Circle and then your opponent's grade 3 gets a crit.
Yep.
Yeah, so it really is just
Dollar
grade
store
grade 2
RPD.
grade 2 RPD, but the power is locked behind the Energy Blast 4, which means
No.
that it's the reason why you still play RPD at 4 and you only play it.
There's some people that actually do play Karma at 4 because the idea is to early rush, intercept with him, or just get rid of him, and then you can put him in the drop zone and then use him
because
for
the
the
thing is
actual
that
kill
the
turn.
boosters actually get very big in this deck, so you don't necessarily always have to Energy Blast 4 every time. You can save the Energy Blast 4 to the decisive turns where you know that you can
Divine
kill
skill.
on the turn. Yeah.
But other than that, it's alright. It's up to you to decide. We are playing at 2, but you cannot do, honestly. Our grade 1s, we play a copy of Abyss Fishing.
Yes.
He's gone fishing. Where is he gone? We play 4 copies of Rogue Headhunter from my Iron Anchor deck profile. Do you guys remember Iron Anchor? I certainly don't. And then we play 4 copies of this girl, which is really cute. I wish she was a Night Roach support, but she's not. And then we play 4 copies of our Perfect Guards. Pretty self-explanatory. Perfect Guards are Perfect Guards. We want to stay alive. Abyss Fishing, we've gone through. I'll cover Rogue Headhunter. Rogue Headhunter, we've met him before. If you forgot him, I don't blame you. If you play the Order this turn, he gains 5,000 power. Hooray! When placed on a Rearguard circle, your next time you wish to play an Order, the cost is discounted by 1 CP. Which is pretty nice because is that Order or Alchemagic?
I'm pretty sure it's Alchemagic.
Yeah, Alchemagic. Yeah. Next time you Alchemagic, the cost reduced by 1 CD, which is really nice. So it's placed from anywhere. It means if you use a certain skill to Nimai no Cold Shield, you actually get a free discount or 2. So you swap 2 energy for 2 color bars. Like, how do I explain that to you that it's really broken? I don't think I can, but I hope you understand from this video that that's really broken.
Okay,
I don't think I can explain it to you. But
okay, but to be very fair,
I hate this deck.
Headhunter is a high roll card.
It's
because the reason, because this obviously is taking up the slot that would be played by like stuff like Philander, stuff like Hendrina, things that would accumulate drop zone for you to then bind.
Oh yeah.
Which instead we are playing it as a power card also to minus our cost, so we can play more black magic, play more Cloud of Miasma, play more overcoming unnatural.
Yeah. So as you can tell, this deck we are focusing more on color blast rather than energy or like soul.
Because we are playing, of course, the power variant of this deck. We just want to end the game. We just want to give solid numbers so that our karma and our RPD can always hit for solid numbers, so that our opponent really doesn't know when you can divine skill. Because the good thing about battle phase divine skill is that you can always blank out on your opponent. You can do the whole entire attack pattern that makes you think your opponent will think that you're gonna divine skill, and then you just like, oh, I don't pay cost. So it's like, so basically, so by making the power columns always big, you also can sort of like dictate the pace of the game so that you can divine skill when your opponent can least expect it or isn't prepared for it.
I love Lyrium.
Yeah. So this is Fairy of Bliss Trudelis, which is the new double rare that came with Zorga Nadir.
Yep.
And it's also the 15k booster that every single fated one gets. So you know, stuff like Aerial Sage, Impale Horn, I forgot the Christian one. So
it's the stupid one with the garbage trick.
so Fairy, so Trudelis' skill is that so it's a 15k booster for Zorga Nadir specifically, but she's also a 13k booster for anything on the board, so long as you have a Vanguard with Zorga Nadir in his name.
Yep.
Yeah, then her skill is that when she boosts Zorga Nadir specifically, she becomes 15k, and then you choose one of your rear guards.
Yeah, choose one of your guards,
Yeah. If your bind zone has 2 or more normal units with different card names, you choose one of your rear guards and it gets 10,000 power, but at the end of the turn it will hollow and it will die.
So because Zorga Nadir already makes so much about hollow, this is just more power to stack on, and then it hollows and then it dies. So the idea is that you just stack as much power as possible. You can play this girl with any of the Zorgas because it actually doesn't specify the divine skill.
Yes.
But do note that you don't really get anything out of it except for Nadir, because this slot is what Philander would have been to other decks. And then moving on to our grade zeros. Our grade zeros, we play Eric. It's our boy Eric. That's really all I can say about Eric. We play 7 crits actually. 7 crits and 4 fronts and then 4 heals and then 1 over trigger. The reason for this is very simple. We actually prefer to get more power because our crit department is generally solved by all of our high crit units. Fronts help a lot more because they give the most amount of power and the most amount of shields. So
you also need to survive Planimai.
you need to survive Planimai too. Yeah. We play this over trigger. I know some people play Velnot. Don't do it. This guy is just way better because you can't need the draws and the crits and the heals and the whatever not you get.
Yeah.
But yeah. And with that out of the way, that covers out our I almost said Dynamite. Zorga Nadir deck profile for DZBT02. This video is really a video that I've delayed for very long. Firstly, I apologize to anyone who was waiting because I really tickled your balls, did I? But other than that though, this is really a deck that's worth the wait. This is a deck that really will scare, threaten, and horrify people for years to come, I dare say. DivineZ when it comes to deck building. Because you have to know that this matchup exists. Zorga Nadir is a lot like DOTX, where if you just deadass don't have enough critical dealing options, you just lose the game. And that's not really fun. That being said, though, he's not like DOTX in the sense that he's not exactly meta warping, or he's not exactly, you know, like the meta right now, but he's generally he's pretty good of a deck, and he will reward players that dabble in it. Again, though, because this is a Zorga list, I will say, if you're not happy with this list, or there's cards you just disagree with, test it yourself and try. I don't think any one of my deck profiles is meant to be something you copy religiously and then play. You're supposed to, you know, learn from the deck. Like, you can see what you like and don't like, and then you try it, right? That's the whole point. But really, that's all I can say about this. I'm glad I can finally start doing DZBT02 deck profiles. I'll try and do more in the next week or two. I've got 1 to 2 more lined up, and I hope you guys like it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye bye.